If you think buying a home in 2026 means saving up for a massive down payment, think again. Because here are 5 simple steps that you can take to buy a home with no money down. But here's the catch. If you skip one of these steps, you could end up overpaying or even get your loan denied. So in today's video, I'm going to break down everything that you need to know. Now let's get into it. So the first step is you want to get pre-approved with a mortgage broker. And the reason to go with a broker is because they have the most options and the most programs available because they're not tied to one single bank. So really, they work for you and not the banks. Now, if you went with a lender or a bank, you're just going to have a lot more limited options because you're stuck with whatever program, rates, and fees that company is offering. And at the end of the day, they work for the company. And step number 2 is going to be understanding what all your loan options are. So there's really 4 major types of loans. Number 1, you have a USDA loan. There's no down payment required, and it's for buying outside of the city in rural areas. Number 2, you have a VA loan. Again, this no down payment required, and this is for active military veterans or surviving spouses. Number 3, you have an FHA loan. Minimum down payment is 3.5% down, and FHA loans are really for those with a lower credit score below 700. And then number 4, you have conventional loans, which minimum down payment is 3%. And this is really for those that have a higher credit score. Now let's go over different grant programs that will help cover this down payment. Now there's hundreds of different grants and down payment assistance programs out there, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. And they're all designed to help cover that down payment. And usually they're combined with either an FHA loan or a conventional loan to help cover that down payment. And these programs, you have programs from the state level, you have programs from the county, even the city, you have programs that cover on the national level, and you have some of these programs that originate from the banks. And if you would like to stay in the know and up to date on different grants and loan programs out there, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I put a video out. Now, there's really 2 different types when it comes to these programs. Number 1, you have forgivable grant options, which means that you don't have to pay back the money that they gave you. Or you have a second option where it's repayable. You're either paying it back on a monthly base, or if you ever go to sell or refinance the property, that money has to get paid back in full. So it's important that you really know and understand all the guidelines and stipulations, or work with a mortgage broker like myself that can help walk you through all the different programs. So USDA is a government loan, and there's no down payment required, and it's for buying a house outside of the city limits in USDA zoned rural areas. I'll put the link down in the description of different property eligibilities link that you can go to. This can only be used to buy your primary residence only. Minimum credit score is a 645 plus, and there's a lot of income restrictions, property restrictions. To get this loan, they make you jump through a lot of hoops, like a ninja obstacle course, but it's a really good loan in theory, but in reality, it's hard to get. Now, with VA loans, it's a government loan that's backed and insured by the VA, and there's no down payment that's required if you have full eligibility. And this is for active military veterans, surviving spouses. And this can only be used to buy your primary residence only, which just means the house you're going to be living in. And really, there's technically not a minimum credit score that the VA itself has, but a lot of times the banks put on their minimum credit score, which is going to be around a 620. Sometimes you can go a little bit lower. Now with FHA loans, again, it's a government loan. Minimum down payment is 3.5%. But you can use a grant or down payment assistant program to help cover that down payment for you. This can only be used to buy your primary residence only. And really the minimum credit score for you to get a decent rate, good approval, low down payment is going to be about a 620. Now this loan right here, it's going to be best for those that have a credit score in the 620 to about 700. And the home itself almost has to be move-in ready condition. It needs to pass FHA health and safety standards. So with conventional loans, minimum down payment, if you're a first-time home buyer, is 3%. But you can use a grant or down payment assistant programs to help cover that for you. And when going with 3% down payment, this can only be used to buy your primary residence only. You can use a conventional loan to buy an investment property, but that down payment is going to be 20%. And conventional loans are really best for those with a 690 plus credit. If you have anything lower, you're going to get killed on the rate and the fees on conventional. And conventional is going to be the most flexible when it comes to any income and any property requirements as well. The property does not need to be in move-in ready condition. It can be sort of a fixer-upper in order to pass conventional loans. And step number 3 is knowing how much closing costs that you'll need, because closing costs are separate from the down payment. Now, a good strategy to use is you can actually ask the seller to cover it, so that if you get a grant for the down payment, seller covers your closing costs, you can buy a home with almost no money out of pocket, cash to close. And this is something that your realtor will have to negotiate for you with the seller on your behalf. But here's what all closing costs are. Closing cost is a blanket term, and what goes into closing costs, you have title fees, you have lender fees, you have government and state stamp tax fees. Then you also have a big portion of it is starting up your escrow account, which is paying your home insurance in advance and a portion of your property taxes as well. And a good rule of thumb, closing costs can be anywhere from about 2 to 4% of the home price. And the reason this varies is it depends on which state you're in, it depends on what county it is, it depends on how high your property tax is. So this is just a good rule of thumb to use. And step number 4 is going to be hiring a real estate agent. So the realtor is really there to help find the home. They're going to negotiate on your behalf, and they're going to be the ones that's writing up the contract between you and the seller. And really, a lot of people make this mistake. They go with a family friend that hasn't sold a home within the last 5-10 years, and they think just having a license or number of years experience doesn't mean they have knowledge in this current market. So you want to make sure that you find a real estate agent that is actively doing deals, because they will know how to negotiate the best way for you. And the cost of the real estate agent, what you want to do is make sure that the seller is going to be paying for your buyer's agent commission, so it's not an out-of-pocket expense to you. And this is something that the real estate agent will negotiate for you on your behalf with the seller. And step number 5 is making sure that you have everything that the loan requires to get it to the finish line. Now, there's really 3 major pillars when it comes to getting a mortgage. Number 1, it's your credit score. Now, your credit score directly impacts the interest rate that you're going to be getting. So the higher your credit score is, the lower that your interest rate is going to be. And it also determines which loan program is going to fit best for you. Now, really across the board, that lowest benchmark entry level is going to be about a 620 score. Now, you want to get it as high as possible that you can, because one, you'll get a lot better interest rate. 2, it's going to make your approval with the underwriter a lot more smooth. Now, number 2, you have income and debt. And what they look at, this really determines how much you're approved for and how much your buying power is. And it's really the difference between getting a $100,000 pre-approval versus $1 million pre-approval is how much income and the least amount of monthly debt that you have. Now, a good rule of thumb is if you have a lot of debt, take your yearly income, your gross income, multiply it by 3, and that's going to be about how much you'll get approved for. And when it comes to having money in the bank, you want to make sure you have a little bit of money saved up, normally at least 2 months of the mortgage payment. If you can get a grant to cover the down payment, if you can get the seller to cover closing costs, and it's $0 for cash to close, the bank is going to still want to see a little bit of money saved up. And again, they don't want to see any cash, large cash deposits. So if you have any cash, go ahead and put it in the bank, because it needs to sit there for at least 60 days. And here's the overall timeline. If you're about 6 months out, you want to just have a conversation with the lender, see what you need to work on within that 6 months. You're not trying to get pre-approved. You're just trying to come up really with a game plan. And if you're about 3 months out, this would be the time that you want to get actually pre-approved. In the pre-approval process, really it's not long. It takes about 24 hours to get that done. Then you'll move into the home researching or the home shopping phase with the realtor. And to find a home, that can take really anywhere from about 1, maybe 2 months. It really depends on what's available and what your needs are. Then once you've found the home, you submitted a contract, the seller has accepted your offer, then to get the keys in your hand, it takes about 30 days. Now we could speed this up a little bit, you could slow this down a little bit, but on average about 30 days. And if you're planning to buy a house and what might help, click on the link in the description, schedule a call, and I'll be in touch.